G'day guys, it's Eve Echo's new guy coming along. Thought I might try and bring you some content around this game that's absorbed my life, probably absorbed a lot of your guys' lives too. And I don't really want to muck around, so I'm just going to get stuck into it while my wife's not around, and obviously I've actually then become the commander of the house. Because Lord knows when she gets back I'm not going to bed. So today I just wanted to go through a few things, a little bit of a basic intro on my history in Eve, what I want to do for you guys in terms of content and videos. Then I really want to crack into skill points and tech tiers based on how much you're willing to pay to get into this game. And I'm going to actually outlay in the first 7 days what your skill points are going to look like with the daily rewards applied. So I don't think anyone's actually done that for everybody out there. There's probably a lot of co-ops doing it. Then I want to do a bit of a shield to the alphas and why I think you should stump up a little bit of money just to get yourself into this game. So we're just going to get straight into it. Hang on, didn't do the intro. Let's go back to that. So myself, I am a data analyst, business intelligence developer by trade. So I do data, hence why I'm probably into Eve, because I'm a massive nerd. Normally it's spreadsheets. I work a lot with this tool called Power BI, which is sort of Microsoft's version of Next spreadsheets. So I thought I might even go into a little bit about what that you could do with your own Eve data in Power BI, especially with that ship plan the guy just released in the last day or two. I'm a dad. I'm hamstrung by my wife quite willingly because, you know, she's got to deal with all my other stuff. What does she have to deal with me playing games as well? So please don't tell her that I'm working, please. My history in Eve Online, I am not really a vet. I played it for probably 18 months. Played it mostly solo, didn't find a corp that really gelled. Most of the guys, I found a lot of toxic people. When it came out on mobile, so Eve Echoes, I was into the alpha straight away. Then my device didn't work, so that didn't work for me. But the beta in December, January, met up with a group of guys, so I'm actually involved in the corp leadership with an Australian-based corp, Null Knights. Guys are legends and keep me honest, keep me entertained. We keep each other honest, I hope. Not too full on, just we're in it for fun. Those guys really helped us. We set up a bit of an industry branch, we did a bit of PvE, did a bit of PvP, just had fun generally. We really built on that in that last beta in July, so if you're looking for one to come along to and you don't want to take it too seriously, obviously we still want to get ahead, but it's not going to be rigid, so check us out if you're in game. What I want to bring to you guys, as I said, really around that data side. I'll be doing a bit of streaming and answering questions where I can, but obviously I'm not that au fait with everything across Eve. I've played a lot of Echoes, so I know a fair bit around what goes on in Echoes. I'm a little bit concerned about what I'm hearing about what might have changed since the last beta, but we'll figure that out as we go. If you've ever seen Rushlock doing his Twitch thing, I'd probably hope to do a similar thing for the Echoes. I think he'll probably do it. I hope he does, because he's awesome at what he does. That said, always check out the other guys. So Benzi, Sovereign RPG, that is. You got Crazy Swede. I can list them all. Anyone who's bringing Eve Echoes content is generally going to give you some good info. So there's no wrong guide to follow on this. And that's really what it's going to be about. Mostly data, just because that's my forte. Now we'll just get into the skill points, because that's probably what most of you. So I've broken the skill points down into 4 tiers, because that's probably how most people are going to be playing, I guess. So you've got your combo tier through here. around about your $15 a month. I'm expecting you're probably going to be using cognitive neurosciences implants, which is going to cost you another $40. Your standard tier at $13, so I don't think many people go down that route. We'll see when we get into it. I thought if you're not willing to pay that extra $2 to get combo, you're probably not going to spend the extra money to get cognitive expert. You're probably going to go advanced, so that's $8. So your trainer, so I think a lot of alt clones will probably run the trainer clones, or the people who just don't have quite the money to be spending on the game. About $5 US. I expect you probably spend the $8 to get Cog Neuroscience Advanced for that as well, another $8. And then your alphas are straight free to plays. So I've got the 4 tiers there. So 75 skill points a minute, 65, 45 or 30. So they're the tiers that you can play in. People talk about pay to win. You can't pay to win this game because you can only go at 75 skill points a minute as it stands. Obviously they can change that. I really hope they don't. So there's a cap on what you can do. So given we know that the game is due to launch on the 13th of August at 8 AM UTC, you could expect to reach Tech 3, which adds an extra 2 frigates on base to be able to fly, and unlocks the first tier of destroyers. So it's really where you start getting into that combat. You'll be able to actually extend a little bit more, and given you're going to be doing tutorials probably up until then, probably a good time frame for it. So it's going to be about 1500 UTC or 7 hours after launch if you're a combo clone with all your implants in as of launch. That goes into, if you're standard clone, you're probably going to be about an hour behind, so 1600 UTC. It'll be about 2 hours later than that if you're a trainer clone. So a little bit behind, but not too bad. It's actually 12 hours later, so 3 AM UTC for an alpha clone to be getting into their Tech 3. It's probably about right. You know, if you're flying alpha, you're going to be pairing up with other guys anyway, I'd hope. And it might take you a little bit longer to get through the chutes because you're probably a newer player. So then you move into Tech 4. So Tech 4, you get further 2 frigates, including the first one that gives you E-War bonuses. You've got further 3 destroyers. So your second level destroyers plus probably the level 2 version, like your Thrasher 2, your Cormorant 2. And in industry, your Venture and the Venture Trainer open up, and the haulers can get into the Imicus. So that's at Tech 4. You're going to be about 16 hours after launch, or midnight UTC for a combo clone with full cognitive neurosciences. Your trainer clone about 7 hours later, so it's about a day after launch, 7 AM UTC, so 23 hours after. The alpha clone, they're actually a fair way behind, so it's midnight UTC on the 15th, so you're 24 hours behind your combo clone players, your top tier paying players, to get into that Tech 4 level. Tech 5, we're now getting into cruisers. It actually ties in really well with the daily rewards because it basically opens the cruiser on the day that you get access to it, or slightly before. That is assuming that the game launches on time and that you're going to be basically loading everything up as soon as you get your hands on it. So 11 PM UTC, 2 days 15 hours. So the other thing you'll notice here is I've added usable skill points. So usable skill points is differing depending on what's going on, really around those daily bonuses, and I'll come to that later. But you're going to have about 289,000 usable skill points to get into Tech 5, and that's going to be in these time frames. So you're 7 hours behind on a standard clone, around about a day and 2 hours behind if you're a trainer clone. So 17th of August at 1 AM UTC. The alpha, you're going to be 4 days behind your top tier paying players. You're also not going to get that free cruiser, so you're going to be a fair way behind if you don't actually invest the money and get those daily rewards. What you're going to get in that is further frigates, covert ops this time as well, Guardian Fleet issue or Navy issue destroyers, so they're actually really handy to come into it. your first level cruisers, as I said, and the Venture 2. So anyone who's in mining, a lot of guys skipped the Venture 2, went straight for the Venture 3. So the tutorial is going to give you a Venture Trainer. I expect that's probably going to be a similar thing come actual launch. So Tech 6 is where we start really spreading between your top level player and your alpha player. Tech 6, you're going to get 4 more cruisers. So this is where any of those guys that are in the cruisers early, that's where you're going to get your bonuses. Again, further frigates, your first stealth bombers, your logistics versions, frigates, your sniper and interdictor destroyers, and your Venture 3 and the Nereus for your, as well as faction haulers. So there's plenty of options when you get into Tech 6, and as you can see, this is 10.5 days after launch. If you're a full combo clone with all your cognitive neurosciences, you get about 1.17 million skill points to use once that unlocks, or that's what you will have used because you'll be training all the way. Especially alphas, you have to keep your skill queue going, otherwise these time frames blow out. So you always have to have a skill going and training, otherwise these time frames mean nothing. So your trainer clones is about 4 days behind. It's not a major gap, to be honest, and I think that works well. So it sort of keeps the guys who are putting in a little bit of money and the guys who are going all out, they're not spreading too far apart. The usable skill points is different, and that's really because of the injectable skills or the skill chips that come in the daily login rewards. And I'll go in that when we go in the 7-day breakdown. Your alphas, you're 18 days behind to get to Tech 6, and that's only going to get further away as you go on. So that's why I really think you ought to come in to pick up the money at least in the first month, but we'll come to that later as well. Tech 7, there's probably a lot going to be changing. This is all assuming that things remain as they were in the beta, and the things that they've released in the media are as they said. So I expect it's going to be true. So you're going to be looking at Tech 7 around the 20th of September, which is about 38 days after launch, a month and a week or so. Another 5 days if you're a standard clone. You're nearly it's 2 months if you're a trainer clone with the only cognitive neurosciences advanced in. So 2 months to get to that one. Another 23 days behind the combo clones. Your alphas, they're starting to really fall behind. So they're actually another 2 months behind your combo clones as to when you're actually going to get access in the Tech 7. The benefit there is that as an alpha player, that's the highest tier you can reach. Continue to accumulate skill points and everything, but you don't get access to further ships or modules that come in those other tech levels. So I think that's probably one that we don't need to actually get into specifics. I expect there'll probably be some other skill point bonuses because of downtime and those sort of things that come in between here and there. So it's probably not worth the detail to go down to the hour of when you're going to hit those numbers. So here I've done a little bit of my thing. So we've grabbed some of that data and thrown it into Power BI just to chart out what it looks like if you're a combo clone player, a standard clone player, your trainer clone player, or your alpha player, and what that plays out for on the first day of play, which is the 13th of August, based on UTC. So this is launching at 8 AM UTC on the 13th of August. Expectation is that if you load up on day 1 and you're a Amiga player, any level of Amiga, you're going to get those free 5,000 skill points, and that's the impact of them here, this little rise. And then we're training away at our different rates. So that's your 75, 65, 45 and 30 skill points per minute, and what that plays out to over the first day in the game. And you can see in this little box up the top, they're your levels, or what skill points you can expect to have acquired up until 11 PM on the given day UTC, because obviously then the date will roll and we'll click into a new date. Your insurance vouchers, you're all going to get those as well. So I'm not really talking to what the alpha bonuses are as we go through it, but it's up there so you guys can pick it out. I've also listed out what tech levels are there. So light blue line here is your tech level 3. As you can see, alpha doesn't cross tech 3, so they're not actually into tech 3 yet. Tech 4, the combo clone's just starting to come into play here, so tech 4 basically crosses over right at the end of the first day of play. Roll on to the 14th, another 5,000 skill points for alpha players. Again, you get that another little rise. Here's your tech 3 and your tech 4 level. So tech 4, all the omegas are going to cross that in day 2. You're going to see there what skill points you got accumulated up until the end of that day. So 181,000, 158,000 for your trainer, your standard. Your trainer clones 116,000 skill points, and your alphas at 68,000 skill points. So they're just breaching tech 3 at that point in time. Into day 3, you get a rig safe and an insurance voucher, so it doesn't really change your skill points. You see the lines linear all the way through there. But what we can see is tech 5 starting to come in. So your combo clones at the end of your 3rd day in the game, that's when you're going to be crossing tech 5. You're going to have had around about 289,000 skill points to use. A standard clone, 251,000 skill points. Your trainer about 177, and your alpha 111,000. So you're nearly 3 times behind on that clone, just because of the bonus rewards and the skill rate that they're training at. Into day 4, so this is where we get the ship safe. This is a trainer cruiser that comes in day 4, as long as everything remains as it was. And the alphas get free skill points this time. So everybody gets a bit of a buff on skill points. You can see that little rise. But here is the tech 5 level, which is when you get access to cruisers. You can't fly this ship that you're going to get as an Omega clone unless you've actually crossed this line. That means combo clone is going to get into it straight away. It's basically right on the timeline that it's going to release. It's pretty clever. I imagine it's planned. If it's not, it's a fantastic coincidence. This one here, you're going to get in there not much after. Your trainer clone, you still got a little bit of way to go, and then your alpha clone, you can see you're a long way off getting into that cruiser yet. And given that you're an alpha, you don't actually get the free cruiser, so you're going to have to go out and buy one. Now we get into day 5. So day 5 is the first of the skill chips. They've spoken about actually changing this so it's not torpedo or missile specific, but it's going to be of your choice. The big thing about it is it's worth about 67,000 skill points, so you can see that big lift that jumps you up. You can't use those skill points other than to inject the chip that's being used. If you've already trained skills for that chip that you're going to inject, it actually doesn't hurt you because you get it credited back, or at least you did in the beta. So don't quote me on that. Don't do it and expect it to happen. I'd actually wait until you get someone else to confirm that happens before you go and do it and get grumpy at me because I'm wrong. But you're going to have had 580,000 usable skill points, or 384 as a trainer clone, or 203 as an alpha. So alpha's still not getting access into that cruiser. Your trainer clone, they get in there really because of this skill chip injection. So the cruiser's going to really want that anyway, so it's probably not that big of a deal that you're a bit of a day behind getting into that cruiser. Onto the 18th, another chip. So this is where I'd expect you could, in theory, actually double up that chip and actually bank the 67,000 skill points and add them onto these totals that are here available for you. It's up to you. Again, there's risk in it. If they've changed the way the mechanic works, you might lose those 67,000 skill points. So let someone else do it, and then they can take the hit rather than you do it. You're better off just training the chip if they don't credit you the skill points back. Skin safe. Everyone's getting skin safe anyway. No big deal. Into day 7, skin safes and rig safes. So there's no extra bonuses. The line's linear. But here's where your alpha's starting to get into your Tech 5. So now you get Tech 5 released. But as you can see, you've only had 290,000 skill points to use. versus your combo clone at 866,000 skill points. It's a pretty big gap, and skill points are really the key to this game, and that's how you're going to get ahead. So you do get ahead by paying that little bit extra money. So for all you guys who are in there, I think that's really what it's about. And now I'm going to go into a pitch to the alpha clones, because anyone who's playing this game free to play, I think you're really going to get a benefit out of going through this by just putting in that money in the first month. You don't have to keep paying. That's the best thing about it. As long as you don't train advanced skills, you don't lose anything, except the $8. So maybe just don't have a coffee for a couple of days, or lay off the beers, something like that. But here's the pitch to alphas. It's always worth having alphas around. And alpha is a welcome asset to the right corp. Like if you're in a corp and they're treating you like garbage because you're an alpha, you're not in the right corp. You could even earn an Omega clone by being valuable to the right corp, because they can actually buy the Plex. Even if they do it with ISK, they can buy the Plex and offer you a clone. So if you prove yourself valuable, there's always a way that you get into Omega just by not even having to pay. The other point I made earlier is the game's not pay to win, it's pay to play. You got to think of this more as, if you're playing it for free, you're actually getting something off the back of the other guys who are paying. The benefit of this and why it's not pay to play is there's a ceiling on the development speed, so you can't actually go through and just pay more and pay more and pay more and accelerate away from the pack. You can pay to a level and then that's it, and everyone else can pay at that level, and it's not so high a mark. Like, I know guys putting in $1,500 in their first month in a real-time strategy game. It just blows my mind that someone would spend that level of money on something that they're probably going to throw away in 6 months because the game's just going to get burnt out because these pay-to-win players just come and smash everyone. It's ridiculous and it's obscene. And then the developers just go and reskin the game as something else. It's horrible that it happens, and I really hope that this game sets a new benchmark for what paying mobile games can do. What I really think from an alpha is you should spend the $8 in the next pages, and I'm going to explain why, to get the most out of your money and time in the game that make these statements more so true. So stepping into it, I've laid out what a trainer clone looks like versus an alpha who spends $2 to get a 5 skill point boost, or you just straight alpha. So the avenue I'm suggesting you take basically goes down this route up until the end of the first month, and then comes into this route because you're no longer paying, you don't have that outlay, and you get the benefits of the Omega clone and your daily bonus rewards, but you don't have to continue paying money. It's going to be $8 US in your first year and $0 ongoing. You're going to get to Tech 6 much earlier, so nearly 2 weeks earlier into Tech 6. Then you revert to Alpha and you'll get to Tech 7 around about the 28th of October. If you didn't put any money in, that's going to be the 21st of November, so it's a full month later. If you don't spend those $8 at the start, you have to keep your skill queue going too. That's key to it. I think it's absolutely worth it because it's not just those that you get, it's also this piece here. So that's the chart of what they look like against each other. It's no different. So I've actually included if you were to spend $2 to get Cognitive Neurosciences Basic, what that looks like. Not a whole lot different. This is really the key to it. So when you go in and you don't outlay your money, you don't get any of these daily rewards. These are your Omega daily rewards, your extra skill points, but it's really these here: your ship safe, the Shan-Yu prototype, and the Can-Yu prototype. These ships were absolutely OP. They've been nerfed a little bit. They're going to be more like a trophy, but they are absolutely worth the money so that you can actually get into the game and start smacking out some pirates, having a bit of fun. You might even lose them, but you've got the insurance vouchers that I believe you can repair once. I actually don't like the idea that you can keep repairing these ships. I think they should be a trophy for players, but they've explained the way that they're thinking, and it'll be what it is. But I think for $8, this is absolutely essential pack for you alpha players. So that's about all I've got for you today. I wanted to keep it nice and short and sharp. Make sure that my wife doesn't come in and berate me for mucking around on computer game stuff rather than actually hanging out with the family. I do like to hang out with my family, but I just really want to make sure I get this guy out to you guys before we launch. So if you liked it, give us a like, give us a sub, follow, whatever it is that you need to do. I have no idea because I'm not really across this stuff. If you don't like it, then you probably won't see a whole lot more content from me. But that's me signing off now. Eve Echoes Noob. Please don't tell me why that I've been in here doing this stuff. Thanks. Bye.